I'm wearing red today. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing the jersey of the most powerful football club in the whole world. If you don't agree, that is on you and I don't care. But I have said what I've said and I'm standing on my business. Period. Hi, my name is Akosia Safi and this is Teachers on Duty. I never have to use tissue or handkerchief for during any episode. But in this episode, please allow me because the heat that we are experiencing in Ghana is ridiculous. Like, it is so overwhelming. It is serious. It is so hot. Very, very hot. And what do we expect? That is what happens if we continue to treat our natural resources anyhow. The cutting down of trees that is going on in our country is, this is the result that we are going to get. The effects of deforestation is what we are experiencing now. So we need to do something about it. We need to really think about how to save our country from this global warming. It is not going to end if we continue to treat our natural resources the way we are treating it now. And I hope something changes soon. Someone will ask me, Akose, why are you wearing red today? Yes, Meniabre pa, because there is fire on the mountain. In fact, I am so pissed. The fact that I am laughing and smiling does not mean that I am not serious about the things that I am about to talk about. Meniabre because you people decided not to leave certain ideas in 2023. After we had the whole conversation, people decided to bring these ideas in 2024. So today, that's what we are going to talk about. That is what we are going to talk about. And after this episode, I don't want to hear any of these ideas again, please. Any of these questions, leave them. One of the things that I was not expecting to see, or I was not expecting to even come across, is this particular question. If a single teacher cannot teach one particular subject, why do we expect a single student to learn all subjects? I felt that as we have all grown, as we have all reached that level of understanding, we actually get why certain things, we have to go through certain things. But it looks like people do not still get why they were made to learn certain subjects and certain courses when they were growing up. So I'm going to take my time, okay? I'm going to take my time to explain to your best of understanding why you needed to learn all subjects when you were in primary school, when you were in junior high school, even when you went to secondary school and somewhere around university also. First of all, what you need to know is that in primary school, when you were in primary school, okay, one teacher took you for every subject, from math to English to RME, every subject one teacher taught it. I don't even understand why I was, because we all went to primary school, so I'm expecting us to really know this. Anyways, let me just go on. So yes, one teacher taught every subject. One teacher still teaches every subject in primary school, from KG nursery to upper primary. One teacher takes one subject. Now in JHS, that is when we do specialization. So that is the first point. One teacher takes all subjects for when in the upper primary, lower primary, and then in the KG. Specialization only happens when we get to junior high school, senior high school, upwards. Now, the reason why one teacher takes all subjects in the primary school, in the lower primary, KG, nursery, is to make it easier for us, for the teacher, okay, to identify your interest. It makes it easier to give proper account of what the child really like. Now, imagine if we have different teachers teaching different subjects in the lower primary. The account that every teacher is going to give is going to be very different. There are going to be different behavioral comments for different subjects from different teachers, because every teacher is going to have a different experience with the learner. But if it's one teacher taking the students for all subjects, he or she is able to really track the behavior, the interest, the how the learner responds, in classroom, outside classroom. So it makes it easier to give proper account to your interest, to the learner's interest, to what they like. Okay, so that when we are making the terminal report, it's coming from one person and not from different thoughts. We are able to get the concrete um one concrete view of how the learner behaves, of his interest, of what they like, how they respond to every subject, and what needs to be done in order to help the learner to improve upon areas that they are lacking behind. Another reason is to build and identify interest. We can all attest, many of us can actually attest to the fact that growing up, we wanted to be something else, and we are not who we wanted to be growing up. That is because when, as you grew up, you realize that you were really good at one particular discipline. Thus, you ended up developing that interest that you have in that particular discipline into what you are today. Okay, so we make you learn all subjects, we make you take all disciplines, so that we will be able to really help you find what the discipline that you are really interested in. Then moving on, we guide you to develop that interest you have in that discipline into a profession, into a career you can benefit, and also you can grow in as you grow up. Okay, we teachers do not know who you want to be as you grow up. So taking you through these disciplines is going to help us, okay, to identify what you are good at. Then with guidance, we help you to develop that discipline into something profitable. If we make you stick to one discipline as you are growing up, and then you grow up and you realize that, oh, you wanted to be an engineer, but then because we did not take you through mathematics, because we did not take you through different disciplines, you didn't know that that was what you wanted to do. So it is very important for us to put you at to test with all these disciplines, so that as you grow up, you are able to test this. Oh, you've tested science. I'm not really good in science, so let me check the English aspects. Maybe English, I'm good at it, but it's not something I'll really like to, growing up, maybe if I grow up, it's not something I'll really like to develop in. So you know what, let me test social studies. Okay, I'm really good with social issues, so maybe I'll have to go much into it. You go to secondary school, you do government, because when you were in primary school, teachers were able to help you to identify that you are really good in what? In social studies. So you know what, when you go to secondary school, choose government as part of your elective subjects, because you have interest in governance, you have interest in social issues. Then from secondary school, when you went to the university, you chose what? Political science as a course that you like to study. Because of your firm interest in social studies, because of your firm interest in governance, you were able to choose what? To identify political science and government as a discipline that you like to develop into a career one day. So imagine if we had not taken you through social studies. Imagine if we had not, even added it to the subject that you need to learn when you are in the primary, when you are in the basic level. How would you have known that you have interest in governance? How would you have known that you have interest in social issues? You wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have known. We make you go through all these disciplines so that it will help us to help you identify your interest. It will help us to help you identify what you are good at. Another reason why you were made to go through and to study different subjects growing up and all other subjects growing up is to make you is to make you a complete individual. Now, it will be very much unfair to groom you into one discipline, to groom you towards one discipline, when our environment and our society as a whole is not made up of just one discipline. Our environment and our society is made up of different scopes that are steered towards different disciplines and different subjects that we are teaching the kids today. Okay, so in order to be a complete individual, in order to be able to identify the happenings in your environment and have a concrete understanding and to give a proper explanation to these to the things that goes on in your environment, you need to be knowledgeable in these scopes. You need to be knowledgeable in these disciplines. You need to be knowledgeable in these subjects. How then are you going to contribute and give your fair understanding, give your fair contribution if you don't have any idea about the things happening in your environment? Imagine saying that there was no need for you to learn science because you are not using it now. Then tell me how you are able to identify that cutting down of trees is the reason why the sun is killing us today. It's because of the science you studied in school. How are you able to know that governance should be done this way? How are you able to identify that to make a country sustainable, these are the things that we need to know, we need to do? It's because of the social studies you studied in school. So bear in mind that no subject, no discipline you learnt in school was in vain. It was to make you and groom you into a perfect individual. It was to make you a complete individual who can fit into the environment, who can fit into his or her society, who can help make the environment a whole, to identify problems, to be able to give proper explanations, and to be able to really identify what is going on in his or her environment, and go through the proper procedure of probably solving them. So that's basically it. You were made to learn different subjects so that you do not become an educated illiterate, someone who only has an education and is only knowledgeable in the field that they find themselves and not other disciplines that come together to make the society. Another thing that I'm going to touch on is the idea that when you teach in the lower primary or in the kindergarten or in the nursery, you, like, I don't know how to put it, but people have this idea that teachers who teach in the lower primary and the upper primary do not meet with the professional level to those who teach in the junior high school and senior high schools. Like, I don't know why we are still thinking like this in 2024. Why do we still have people who have this idea? What I need you to understand is that every teacher is equally professional at every level that they find themselves, and no one is more important than the other. The reason why you find a teacher teaching in the kindergarten, teaching in the lower primary, and you find another teacher teaching in the upper primary is, one, due to the course studied during school, in the college, in the university. Some teachers went to school to study early childhood. Now, the fact that they studied early childhood and you find them teaching in the lower primary, teaching in the kindergarten, nursery, does not make them any less professional. It does not mean they do not know, or whatever they are teaching is useless. Also, it does not also mean that they are paid less when at the end of the day government is paying us. It will surprise you that someone who is teaching in the, it's not even a surprise, I don't even have to use surprise, we are paid based on ranks. So someone could be in the lower primary but has a higher rank. Okay, so even though he or she is at the lower primary, with the rank that they have, they could be taking more than me that I am teaching at the upper primary, JHS. So if my rank is not up to the level of someone who is at the lower primary, I'm not going to take more than that person. We are paid based on ranks, and that does not make us any less professional. It does not make them or us any less professional. Another reason why you find someone teaching in the lower primary and another teaching in the upper primary is due to classification. Classification in the sense that you may go to a certain school and the only class available for you to teach will be in the lower primary. Does that mean, does it mean you are not going to take it or what? That is the class available. So you have to go there. It does not make him or her any less professional. It does not mean they are going to take a lesser salary because they were taken to class 2, because they were taken to class 1, because they were taken to KG, because they were taken to nursery. So they are not going to pay them equally to someone who is teaching at the junior high when their rank is higher than them. No. It also does not make them what? Any less professional. Let's desist from that idea. Let's move away from that idea. When I completed school and then I was posted to my current location, when I got here, the only class available for me to teach was class 2. So I was teaching class 2 when I got here. And then as time passed, my headmaster felt that, I have stayed in class 2 for so long, so he wanted to, do classification again. And then he changed me to class 4. Later, he felt, there is no one teaching class 5, so I should handle both class 4 and then class 5. That is how I am multi-grading 2 classes at the same time. Does that make me any less professional than the one who is teaching junior high school? No, it does not. It does not make me any less. It's the same way the one teaching in the lower primary or the one teaching in the kindergarten is not any less important to me. We are both professional in the field and in the class that we find ourselves. The person is not knowledgeable. I don't even get it. You don't find them knowledgeable, and yet their classrooms are always full. And yes, from Monday to Friday, your kids do not stay home because you think that person teaching in the kindergarten is not knowledgeable. You still send your kids to them for them to teach your kids. You still send your kids to them, even though you think that they are not knowledgeable, they do not know what they are doing, and that what they are doing does not hold any change. Yet their classrooms are always full. Why don't you let your kids stay home so that you teach them yourself? If what they are doing is not so much of a tax, if it's not so much of anything, it's not any job, let your kids stay home so that you teach your kids yourself. So please, let's put a stop to this idea. Kindergarten teachers are important. They are equally professional in the level that they find themselves. They are equally important. So please, let's put a stop to that idea. Another thing that needs to be addressed is the idea that the fact that I did not have an idea. I'm saying too much ideas, but yeah, the fact that I do not have an idea about a specific thought or a specific how do I put it? Maybe you asked me a question about something and I was unable to answer. It does not mean that it makes me any less of a teacher. No. We sometimes forget that there are vast knowledge in the world. And even AI sometimes do not have an answer to certain questions. So how much more me, a human being, that day in, day out, I still find new ideas. That day in, day out, I still have to learn certain things in order to be very much aware of the happenings going on around me. Oh, teacher Nipa, what is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? Even encyclopedia, sorry. If encyclopedia do get revised year in year out, encyclopedia have first edition, second edition, third edition, how much more me, an individual? How much more me, an individual? So if you understand that encyclopedia, dictionaries do need to be revised, why do you expect me to be all knowing when I am equally resourcing from these materials? If they need to be revised and you understand that, why do you expect the unexpectable from me, from teachers? Please, let's put a stop to that. Okay, if I do not know something, that is my avenue to learn it. I have the chance to also go and learn it and then teach it the best possible way that I can, using the methods that I have learned and I have been taught from college and from the university. So please, let's put a stop to that idea. Okay, sa teacher nipan and na wuni man. Why? We beg you. We are trying our best. We are doing the best that we can. The last thing is that the fact that I am underpaid doesn't mean that I am poor. Let me repeat that again. The fact that I am underpaid, the fact that my conditions of services, the fact that my working conditions are not there yet, does not mean that I am poor. Okay, that idea, please, 2024, we actually had a whole conversation about this. Why is this still in 2024? Please, let's put a stop to that idea. We are underpaid doesn't mean that we are poor. Okay, we are not being given the necessary conditions that will make us work efficiently. It does not mean that I am poor. I am not being given the necessary teaching and learning resources. Does not mean that I am poor. Okay, let's put a stop to that. Let's drive from that idea that we are poor. It is not there yet, but we are hoping that it will get there. It does not mean that we are poor. Okay, now that we have reached a common ground, now that we both understand these things, okay, kindly hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching and listening. As always, I am Akosia Safi. Please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, don't forget to do what? Subscribe. That's another behavior that you should put a stop to in 2024. Okay. Until we meet again, bye.